Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful princess named Snow White. Her skin was as white as snow, her lips as red as blood, and her hair as black as ebony. Snow White's stepmother, the queen, was very vain and jealous of her beauty. Every day, the queen would ask her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And every day, the mirror would reply, "You are my queen." But one day, the mirror replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." Enraged and consumed by jealousy, the queen ordered a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. However, the kind-hearted huntsman couldn't bring himself to harm the innocent princess. Instead, he told her to run away and never return. Snow White fled deep into the forest, where she discovered a tiny cottage. Curious, she went inside and found it was the home of 7 dwarfs, who worked in the nearby mines. Exhausted from her ordeal, she fell asleep in one of their beds. When the dwarfs returned home and found her, they were surprised but welcomed her with open arms after hearing her story. Snow White lived happily with the dwarfs, keeping their house tidy and cooking delicious meals for them. Meanwhile, the queen discovered that Snow White was still alive when she asked her mirror once again, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror replied, "Snow White, who lives with the 7 dwarfs, is the fairest of them all." Furious, the queen disguised herself as an old peddler woman and set off to find Snow White. She offered Snow White a poisoned apple, and as soon as Snow White took a bite, she fell into a deep, death-like sleep. When the dwarfs returned home and found her, they were heartbroken. They placed her in a glass coffin in the forest and kept watch over her day and night. One day, a handsome prince who had heard of Snow White's beauty came to see her. Overcome by sorrow and love, he kissed her. Miraculously, the kiss broke the spell, and Snow White awoke. The prince asked her to marry him, and she happily agreed. Snow White and the prince returned to the kingdom, where they were married in a grand celebration. The wicked queen, consumed by her own evil deeds, was never seen again. Snow White and her prince lived happily ever after, and the 7 dwarfs continued to visit them often, always cherishing the bond they had formed. Thank you for follow.